Sadhguru, nowadays youth are so active on social media and we have been using that platform for various purposes. We even use that for this Youth and Truth program, popularizing it here in Varanasi. We asked for several questions on the social media also, and we selected the famous one, the most famous one out of those questions. So I have one question. It is Pranav who asked, at home they teach us how to behave with girls, but when I go out with my friends, we see something different, which is totally different. When I go online, the things are crazy. How is a man supposed to behave with or treat a woman?
Well, a woman is not a separate species, first of all. This too much of man-woman thing is being done, unfortunately. It's a small biological difference to serve a certain purpose. We're all here today because of this difference, yes? Because we have a mother and a father, one happens to be a woman in that. Because of that, we are born and we are here. So, we don't have to treat women like separate species. There was a time, we must understand this, there was a time when the world was such that a woman couldn't really go out and do much because of the nature of the world around. Suppose right now, I don't know, maybe 2,000–3,000 people turned up from many parts of the world for yesterday's event in Kashi. I think in this more than 60% are women. Now, suppose this was 1,000 years ago, it would be 95% men, only 5% women maybe. Because to travel by walk or by on a horseback and to come to Kashi from 1,000 miles away would be a challenging thing for a woman, would not be very safe for a woman those days. But today, you must understand it's not your liberal attitude which has brought women reasonably level, just technology. Technology has leveled the difference because your big muscle is no more useful. You need some brain. There was a time when man's muscle did everything on this planet. When man's muscle did everything on this planet, naturally man was dominant. This dominance also is misunderstood. He dominated in one arena which was filmed and reported. She dominated in a different arena which was private and not reported. But because we have taken to Western modes of living right now, very much, because of that, we have this controversy has been going on with me for last week, 10 days, because I said, if you make economics the only value of your life, money is the only prime value in your life, then world will become very male. Because there'll be no room for the feminine to find expression. There may be women, but they will surrender their feminine to be successful, unfortunately. This should not happen. Women should succeed as women, not as men. With full-blown feminine nature, they must be able to be successful in a society. They don't have to pretend to be a man to be successful. This has to go. If this has to go, the world has to move completely from brawn to brain. It's very important, this transition. Now, when you talk about economy or money power, it's brawn. It's a different kind of muscle. Money or muscle, we're talking about it in the same context. Money is another kind of muscle. So we are taking away the physical muscle and bringing in the money muscle. So once again you're creating a male-dominated society, masculine-dominated society, because now women have understood how to be successful by being masculine. No, this is not a good thing for the world. There must be a world where women can be 100% feminine and still be absolutely successful. If this has to happen, money should not be the ruling factor, it should be just currency. Money is just currency to facilitate things. But right now, money is the ruling factor, so masculine becomes the dominant force. We need to change this. Unless music, aesthetics, love, beauty and other things, everything becomes equal proportions, feminine will not flourish. And if feminine is wiped out of this planet, then all the men will sit and wonder, why are we living?
Sadhguru, in your AV you said it was difficult for you to plant trees in people's mind and then rest of the thing just happened. So I want to ask how do we plant this seed in their mind that females need to flourish as females?
See, you don't have to plant it in their head, you have to plant it in your head.
But like I said in my first question, yes, we can do it at our part, but then there are people, there is society, there are ways that people judge us.
See, don't think there's no judgment for a male. Don't think there's exploitation for a male. It is there. It is just that for a woman, unfortunately, any little exploitation takes on a sexual tone, all right? That is the ugly part of it. Otherwise, don't think men are not exploited. They're exploited in many different ways, ask him. No, that is why a lawyer is successful, because somebody is exploited, isn't it?
I want to say thank you, sir, for saying this.
The problem right now is, we are still in such a consciousness, anything that's weaker than us, we will exploit. Man, woman or child or animal. Yes or no? Anything that is weaker than us, because still we don't have brain in our head, we still have muscle in our head, okay? The muscle should transform into brain cells. Then we will see that for you to succeed, you don't have to really exploit anything, actually. In fact, if you get the love and cooperation of everybody, you will succeed even better. I will tell you an example. I am doing a program for one of the top international companies, one of the top companies. 25 of their top executives are there. It's a 3-day event. I have 9 volunteers. I don't know if you noticed our volunteers here, without one instruction, they just go about doing everything that needs to be done. If something is not done, I know it could not be done. There's no question of somebody did not do it, because we built such a force. So they watch these 9 people moving around, then they ask Sadhguru, where do you get such people? Because they're always looking for attrition, you know. Then I said, you don't get them, you got to make them. How do you make them? I said, you have to make them fall in love with you. Oh, how do you do that? I said, first you must fall in love with them. Then they say, wait, huh? Then they say, oh, they don't pay us for that. So, when money is the only ruling factor in your life, you're like a circus monkey. If you give a banana, you will jump, otherwise you'll simply sit, all right? So if you're not a circus monkey, then you will see exploiting is not a good thing. If everybody falls in love with you, how easy and wonderful it is to work. When people hate you, when they resent you, they will make your life miserable, believe me. They will make sure, won't you? When you're resentful about somebody and you have to work for them, won't you make sure their life is miserable? Yes, this is why people are thinking work is so stressful, because everybody hates them. If they create a really loving and inclusive atmosphere around them, where everybody senses there is no sense of exploitation, see, I don't exploit anybody, but I work them to death. But before that, I'm working myself, people are afraid I may kill myself, so they're also trying to catch up, there's no problem. If I sit like this and make you work, then you will come up with something else to make my life miserable. When you see you're only emulating me, then why will you feel exploited? I make them work 7 days of the week, 18 hours a day, non-stop, day or night. At 2 o'clock in the morning, I'll call them and saying, do this, do that, do that. because so many things happening. You see, you're joining up, so I'm telling you.
I can link you, sir.
So, exploitation is a silly way of doing things in the world, unintelligent way of doing things in the world. Inclusiveness is the best way to do work in the world. If you think your work is important, if you think what you're doing is important, people come to me always, we are a volunteer organization, over 4,600 whatever, full-time volunteers and over 9 million part-time volunteers. Every day somebody comes up to me and says, Sadhguru, I can't work with this person, she's terrible, he's like this, he's like that. I say, see, in this world, there are only these kind of people. Like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, only these kind of people. If you think what you're doing is very significant, you have to work with these kind of people. But if you think you want to work with ideal people, you must go to heaven and today. Yes. If you think what you're doing is very significant, you will work with whatever you have. If you have donkeys, you'll work with them. Yes? But you have not realized the significance of what you're doing, now you're busy complaining about everything. This doesn't mean everything around me is perfect, but everybody is doing their best, that's all.